Hmm. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee's online worship service. I'm Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom, and I'm honored to serve as First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee's senior minister. We welcome people of all genders, sexualities, ages, races, ethnicities, histories, and bodies. We welcome your mind, your heart, and your spirit. We welcome all you're bringing with you today and all your heart longs to set down. I'd like to welcome you into our multi-generational worship service today by inviting you to repeat our mission after me. We gather to nurture the spirit, engage the mind, and inspire action.
Rather than a reading for our chalice lighting today, I wanted to share a story of how our beloved hymn, the one that centers us each Sunday, Spirit of Life, came to be. Today, as we celebrate our children, our new members, and the power that art has to heal and generate hope, this story begs to be told. The story is constructed by the words of the songwriter herself, Carolyn McDade, and adapted from the words of Kimberly French, who did an interview with her in 2007 for the UU World. In 6 short lines, Spirit of Life touches so much that is central to our faith: compassion, justice, community, freedom, reverence for nature, and the mystery of life. Though the song touches so many, its genesis was a very personal one. Late one night in the early 1980s, Carolyn McDade was driving her close friend home from one of those meetings. In UU storytelling, it's been called a church social justice meeting, an anti-nuclear power demonstration, a remembrance for Harvey Milk, but Carolyn believes she thinks it was a Central American solidarity meeting. What she remembers clearly is telling her friend, "I feel like a piece of dried cardboard that has lain in the attic for years. Just open wide the door, and I'd be dust." I was tired, not with the community, but with the world. My dear friend just sat with me, and I loved her for that. Carolyn then drove home, and in her own words, "I walked through my house in the dark, found the piano, and that was my prayer. May I not drop out." It was not written, but prayed. I knew more than anything that I wanted to continue in faith with the movement. Spirit of Life started as a prayer by a woman who was trying to stay in faith with a larger social justice movement, but it slowly grew into a life of its own. The song spread to our Unitarian Universalist congregations, and when our association published our gray hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition, Spirit of Life was included. It had become an important hymn for Unitarian Universalists. Carolyn says this of her artistic endeavors: "It was only by reclaiming my creative power in song and acting in social movement that I found health again. Gradually, I made my way back to the piano bench. That made song the essence of life, a deep prayer that permeated every cell and every space between cells, with a fertile engagement with the simple act of living." In the hymn we sing, "Roots hold me close, wings set me free." The roots are the prayerfulness that is at the center of the song's creation, and the wings are all of us who sing it and spread it throughout our faith community. We will now go to the sanctuary to light our chalice and for the singing of Spirit of Life.
Ah, what a joy it is to be with you this morning. Good morning, everyone. We have a special treat today. We have the joy of having a child dedication this morning. In Unitarian Universalism, we believe that every child is born an original blessing. In our child dedication ceremonies, we commit ourselves to their lives, blessing the children and their parents, and also receiving their unique blessing into our community. Each child comes into this world like a rose in bud, beautiful in this stage of their life, and also with the potential to grow. That growth cannot happen alone. Like a rose, each child needs loving nurture, fresh air and rich soil and clear rain and sunny days and restful nights. These children's first teachers of truth and examples of love are their parents. So, Carolyn, in bringing your children to be dedicated today, you and Justin are saying that you affirm your children are blessings entrusted to your care, and that you intend to do all you can to provide your children with roots so they might feel safe and wings so that they might fly. Will you strive to share with your children the reverence for life's beauty, goodness, and truth? If so, please say now, we will.
We will.
Every child is dependent on the love and care of others. Children cannot grow fully into their unique potential alone or only the devotion of parents and family. Children need a community in which to grow. So we have some promises to ask of our community. Children and youth of our congregation, this question is for you. You can speak your answer out loud, or you can write your answer in the YouTube chat now, or you can do both. If you write in the chat, these children on our community will be able to see and experience your welcome. Will you promise to befriend these children and welcome them into our community of love and learning and care? If so, please now say or write in the chat, we will. We will.
We will.
Adult members and friends, this question is for you. You can speak now your answer out loud, or also write your answer in our YouTube chat, or both. If you write in the chat, the children and our community will be able to see your welcome. Members and friends of First Church, will you welcome this family into our community, being with them in times of struggle and gladness? Will you promise to delight in these children's accomplishments, share in their sorrows, and encourage them to grow into adulthood? If so, please now say or write in the chat, we will. We will.
We will. Carolyn Robbins, what are the full names that you and Justin Robbins have given these children?
Liam Raymond Robbins and Ava May Robbins.
Liam Raymond Robbins and Ava May Robbins, we welcome you among us. So we'll begin our child dedication this morning by anointing with earth. Liam, as you are a blessing, we want to share with you today the blessing of earth. Earth, which blesses with strength and gives life its shape.
We now move on to air. Liam, you are a blessing, and we share with you the blessing of air. which blesses with wisdom and gives life its breath.
We're going to move on to water now. Liam, we want to share with you the blessing of water as you are a blessing to the world. Water, which blesses with love and emotion.
Now, fire. Liam, as you are a blessing, we share with you the blessing of fire, which blesses with the spark of creation.
And finally, Liam, we bless you with a rose. As you are a blessing, we give you the blessing of a budding rose as a symbol of life's beauty unfolding, just like your life is unfolding right now. Ava, we want to share these blessings with you too, beginning with Earth. Ava, as you are a blessing, we share with you the blessing of Earth, which blesses with strength and gives life its shape.
Now, air. Ava, as you are a blessing, we share with you the blessing of air, which blesses with wisdom and gives life its breath.
Now we'll move on to water. Ava, as you're a blessing, we share with you the blessing of water, which blesses with love and emotion.
Now, fire. Ava, as you are a blessing, we share with you the blessing of fire, which blesses with the spark of creation.
And finally, Ava, we share with you the blessing of the rose. Just as you are a blessing, we give you the blessing of the budding rose as a symbol of life's beauty unfolding, just as your life is unfolding right now. Congregation, may we be worthy guardians of these young lives. May we build a community in which they will grow old, surrounded by beauty and embraced by love. Let's show them our love right now with you all writing your embrace of this family in the chat while we listen to a UU Celtic harpist playing Sleep My Child, which is hymn number 409 in our gray hymnals. It's good to be with you, family. Mm. In the December 1911 poem, Bread and Roses, James Oppenheim writes, "As we go marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, 1,000 mill lofts gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses, for the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we go marching, marching, we battle too for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing their ancient call for bread. Small art and love and beauty their drudging spirits knew. Yes, it's bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we go marching, marching, we bring the greater days. The rising of the women means the rising of the race. No more drudge and idler, tend that toil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glory. Bread and roses, bread and roses. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Bread and roses, bread and roses. In Lawrence, Massachusetts, in 1912, people working in factories that made textiles, different kinds of cloth, especially wool, had really hard lives. They worked long hours for pay that barely gave them enough to eat, and the conditions were really dangerous. A third of the people who worked in those mills died before they were 25 years old, and many of the factories had children working in them too. In January of 1912, the workers had the pay that they could barely eat on cut, and they decided to fight back. They organized what's called a strike, when all the workers come together to stop working until their demands are met. Most of those workers in the factories were women, they were immigrants, and they were children workers from many different backgrounds. There were Polish workers and Syrian workers and Italian workers and Hungarian workers. Before the strike in Lawrence, Massachusetts in 1912, people believed that immigrant workers, women, and people from different ethnic backgrounds couldn't be organized. But in January of 1912, the international workers of the world organized those folks and the children too to win their demands. The way they won was actually through the children. They sent the children of the striking workers to live with families nearby. And those families learned from the children about their hard lives. And then those families raised a big ruckus with the government to help change the terrible conditions of the children and the women workers. There was a national investigation of the factories, and the owners of the factories finally agreed to the workers' demand, and they increased their pay by 20%. After that, people knew that women and immigrants from different backgrounds and children had power they could organize together and they could win better conditions for their lives. They sang a song together about bread and roses that was based on the poem I just read, Bread and Roses, Bread and Roses, because the fight was not just about pay, it was also about dignity and respect and lives that included beauty. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses.
As we come marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a billion darkened kitchens, 1,000 workshops gray, are touched with all the radiance that a southern sun discloses. For the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, marching, we battle too for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we come marching, marching, unnumbered women dead go crying through our singing their ancient song of bread. Small art and love and beauty, their drudging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, marching, we bring the greater days. The rising of the women means the rising of the race. No more the drudge and idler, tend that toil where one reposes, but sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses.
Dr. Hans Rosling, a public health expert, once declared that culture is the most important thing. It's the value of living. He had observed that art, music, and dance, compared with all of life's essentials like food, health, human rights, and education, are the most important things, since art and music and dance directly feed our souls. Now, I think I understand what he meant. For me, the visual arts nourish my mind, but music, sweet music, it is a magic elixir for my heart. I crave music when I'm down. I must have music to celebrate. I use music to work and play and heal and teach. Many of you know Kate and Elizabeth, our adult daughters, from their time in youth group, but also from the memorable music they have made in our church. Kate is now a scientist of climate and ecology, working to understand the burning forests in Alaska. She can do this because she is a superhuman reader, able to quickly consume and understand complex written ideas. Reading speed and comprehension came on so quickly in baby Kate that speech development took a back seat. She didn't say much for the first 4 or 5 years because she was busy consuming books. So when she was 7 and struggling to pronounce some consonants, She embraced the flute and eventually mastered it. As soaring melody filled our home and the first church sanctuary, her lips and tongue organized and her mind expanded again. Now today, Kate speaks eloquently about a future that needs our help. And you may also know Elizabeth, now a math educator, as the talented violinist, guitarist, bassist, and vocalist who lights up the church house band routinely and is the me in the dad-daughter duo that we call Me and Dad. Now, Elizabeth has always been a performer, inspiring others to joy and movement with her limitless energy, enthusiasm, and flair. But you may not know that Elizabeth internalizes injustice, and like her dad, worries about uncertainty with sometimes painful intensity. So Me and Dad is how she and I make and share hope. One of our favorite songs to play is Thunder Road by Bruce Springsteen, in which two people in a lonely place plan a risky road trip to find freedom. Now, before we formed our family, Angela and I planned our wedding on a budget. Our parents contributed, of course, but we had our sights set on extravagant music and dancing. So we found a tight live band that covered the top hits of the time, masterpieces like La 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 Bamba by Los Lobos, and who can forget Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. The Reverend Drew Kennedy presided over a hot and sunny backyard service, and the party moved to the sweltering Lake Park Pavilion, which didn't yet have a restaurant and was then a dusty, echoey, rentable hall, perfect for our rave. Now, during dinner, the band set up big lights and speakers and tuned instruments, even as Angela and I secretly fretted that we didn't have the money to pay them. So while our guests ate, we snuck out, grabbed a stack of envelopes from the gifts table, and hid in the basement, hunting for cash, which we found in 10s and 20s, tucked into thoughtful cards. Our friend Russ gave us a $100 bill, a fortune, and we hollered as if we'd won the lottery. In the end, we were grateful to find just enough to pay the musicians, who rocked the sweaty hall until 2 a.m. But in our haste, we had neglected to keep track of who gave what. So our thank you cards read, generically, "Thank you for celebrating with us." Now, life was then, as it is now, all about the music. So if those stories made you want a song, I suggest that you take a moment to turn up the volume now, because here comes one, courtesy of Jack Forbes Wilson and some of our first church families.
Hi everyone, I'm Max and we'll need your help on this song. It was by some great songwriters called the Okie Dokie Brothers. They're pretty cool. It is mostly a call and response song, so here's the cool, exciting part. Even if you don't know the song, you can sing along in the comfort of your own home. Cool, right? Jack and Desiree will help us all out, and I will do my best to conduct the whole mess. When I point to you, it's your turn to sing back to me what you just heard us do. Anyplace else, just say ooh or make something up. Ready? Hit it, Jack!
If you want a song,
If you want a song,
you gotta sing.
you've got to sing.
If you want a song,
If you want a song,
you gotta sing.
you've got to sing.
'Cause once you find your song, then the world can sing along. If you want a song,
If you want a song,
you gotta sing.
you've got to sing.
If you want change,
If you want change,
you gotta change.
you've got to change.
If you want change,
If you want change,
you gotta change.
you've got to change.
'Cause once you change yourself, then you can change something else. If you want change,
If you want change,
you gotta change.
You've got to change. If you want now,
Then when? Not later, not then
If you want love,
give it away.
give it away.
If you want love,
If you want love,
give it away.
give it away.
And the best place to start is inside your little heart.
If you want love,
If you want love,
give it away.
give it away.
If you want a song,
If you want a song,
you gotta sing.
you gotta sing.
If you want a song,
If you want a song,
you gotta sing.
you gotta sing.
Once you find your song, then the world can't sing alone.
If you want a song,
If you want a song,
you gotta sing.
you gotta sing.
If you want a song,
If you want a song,
you gotta sing.
you gotta sing.
Good job, everyone!
I am the Reverend Kimberly Tomchuk Carlson, and it is my honor to serve as the Minister of Religious Education here at the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. The story I have for you today is a story I used to read every year when I was an art teacher to the kindergartners before we started our first art project. And I bet you'll be able to guess what we painted that day. The story is called The Dot, and it is written and illustrated by Peter Reynolds. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled. "Just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and she gave the paper a good strong jab. There. Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. "Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name." The next week, when Vashti walked into her art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was her little dot, the one she had drawn, her dot, all framed in swirly gold. "Humph," she thought. "Well, I can make a better dot than that." She opened up her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot, and then the blue mixed with the yellow, and she discovered that she could make a new kind of green dot. Vashti kept experimenting. Lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on bigger paper to make even bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. Nope, not me. I can't draw a ruler with a straight line." Vashti smiled.
She handed the boy a blank piece of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she smiled and said, "Now, sign it." The end. It is easy to neglect the importance of art in our lives during difficult times, when we are worried about the well-being of ourselves and our loved ones, and even the very soul of our society. Art, easy to forget, easy to neglect. There are few things that I enjoy more than making art, but I've noticed that lately it keeps slipping off my weekly schedule when more time will somehow magically appear. Have you ever felt like Vashti in today's story, The Dot? When just looking at a blank piece of paper fills you with a feeling of dread and frustration, knowing that you could not possibly make anything look or sound the way that you imagined. Or sometimes I think I could not possibly express myself today. I have no idea how I'm feeling about anything right now. On really dreary days, I even find myself asking the dreadful existential questions like, what is the purpose of making art anyway? How does art matter in the world? When we find ourselves stuck here, we are overdue for art intervention. This is more than just my biased opinion and experience. Science and reason continually support the idea that art and art making is good for us. In a study from the journal Art Therapy, researchers have found that just 45 minutes of art making lowers a person's level of the hormone cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone. The levels are significantly reduced regardless of their art skills or the quality of their artistic endeavor. So even if you just grab some crayons and scribble in rage, that is healing you. Have you ever watched children make scribble art? It's this outpouring of energy and feeling. I used to get to watch this happen a lot when I was an art educator. Children would even take a perfectly lovely picture, one they had painstakingly created, and then in a mood, find the black paint. All their frustrations would come pouring out like a dark storm on their pictorial narrative, and their artwork would become one big blob of feelings. I never saw a child get distressed that their artwork had turned into a big black storm. Directly after, the children appeared unattached to their finished product, calm, relaxed. They would just shrug and show me their art and say, "Look what happened." Now, this made grading the artwork tricky, and the parents were often distressed when they brought home the artwork. But I think the children understood innately that art really is more about the process than the product. The purpose of making art is not simply a way to represent reality, but a way to understand and experience the world. Creative expression, it allows our feelings through movement of our body to connect our thoughts with our emotions, allowing us to embrace and share our inner experiences. Art making, it's a path to being healthy and whole. Here in Milwaukee, Sarah Gilbert teaches art with children at the Glenbrook Apartments, a common bond affordable housing community. She helps ensure that the children get more than just their basic needs met. She says, when we started the art program, we wanted to tap into how the kids were feeling and help them to mourn what they had lost as a result of COVID. Doing art projects helps them tap into their feelings because a lot of times kids don't know how to express them. Each year, our children's religious education team looks for ways we can give back to our community. When our church asked Milwaukee Center for Children and Youth how we could best help support their work with children in our community, they requested that we provide them with art kits. We are now gathering those art supplies, and you can help us. Please donate through our MCCY art supply wish list. The sharing of art has a profound purpose too. The arts and their contribution to our well-being during this time of coronavirus confinement are especially central. Listening to the Indigo Girls concert in April, it brought tears of joy and laughter into our home as it invoked in us memories of better times and a hope that we will find those times together again. Art brings to us moments of joy that allows us to release the vast and too often inner space of thought and imagination. And when we see art that poignantly expresses our values and provokes our courage, it can motivate us to take action. Art can foster a connection with other humans and our own humanity. Theologian Henry Wyman suggests that God, or what is sacred, exists in the process of creative interchange, and we experience the holy when we are participating in the creative interchange. The act of creation offers a restorative spiritual path forward, a process that requires us to mindfully engage as we invest our time and our energy. Artist Gerhard Richter says, "Art is the highest form of hope." When we choose to engage in art, the act of creation, we become participants in the mystery and in the transformation of our reality and our world. As our days become colder, I hope you warm up your soul by pulling out the art supplies, whether it be beading or collaging with old magazines, scribbling or oil paints, or tune up those instruments, make a song, and shake your body to the rhythm of your soul. May you find the space to express yourself and know that you are participating in the divine creative interchange that may help heal the world. May it be so. Blessed be.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing in dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing in dark and rain, sorrow and pain, still you remain, singing, calming my fears, quenching my tears, through
Thank you so much for your generosity. Pledges are the core of our congregation's spiritual practice of generosity. We are also so grateful for additional gifts to support our ministry, and we thank the folks out there who are appreciating this online ministry and supporting it by texting 73256 with the message "Give to you," or who are giving on our website. Your gifts help us continue to provide this ministry. We also share the plate with an organization each month. In November, our Faith in the Streets partner, Zao Milwaukee Church, is our Share the Plate recipient. Since 2016, Zao Milwaukee has been serving as a Jesus-rooted, justice-centered, and radically inclusive church of diverse folks in Milwaukee. Zao explicitly affirms the life, value, and worth of LGBTQIA people and the movement for Black lives. To donate to Zao Milwaukee, please see their website at www.zaomke.org. Links to donate are in the chat now, and they'll live on in the YouTube comments section of this video after worship is over. Thank you so much for giving, right now or when you come back later. Your support keeps us and our community partners going. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Jacoby, the membership coordinator, First Church. And with me this morning is Lynn Connolly, our membership team chair. We're here to welcome a group of people who completed our Journey to Membership class this past Wednesday and joined our congregation. John, Nancy, Deborah, and Jack, welcome. I've said to this group, and I say all the time because it's true, that First Church is a co-created community. Who we are now has been created by our members past and present, and who we will become, you, our newest members, will help to shape. In turn, like when we humans engage in any creative endeavor, you enter this community willing to be changed and reshaped yourselves. Of course, creation, artistic creation, even co-creation takes patience and commitment and a willingness, a vulnerability, a willingness to be changed, and maybe most important, a willingness to raise your own voices and your own gifts as valuable to this community. Thank you for joining this creative endeavor. Thank you for joining this congregation where seekers have been coming for 175 years to practice connection and love. Thank you for joining this faith where we say our answers will vary, but our ongoing search for truth and meaning is valuable, it's important. And welcome to a congregation that believes very much that working towards dignity and justice for all is a part of practicing our values and of living our faith. And finally, welcome to a group of people that sees all of life as interconnected and interdependent. New members, I invite you from your homes to enter into covenant with your new congregation by repeating these fine words after me. We enter this congregation with hope and possibility in our hearts. We pledge to participate in and support the ministries of this church. We covenant to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. We seek your welcome as we join you in this faith. Lynn is now going to lead our entire membership through their part in this welcoming covenant.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to invite the entire membership to join me in giving our new members a virtual welcome. And we'd like you to also type a welcoming comment in the chat. Now, please repeat after me. We welcome you as once we were welcomed ourselves. We bid you welcome who come with weary spirit seeking rest. We bid you welcome who come with hope in your heart. We bid you welcome who are seekers of a new faith. We bid you welcome who enter this hall as a homecoming, who find in these people a family. And in their last journey to membership class, the new members introduced themselves to you by sharing how art has helped them. And here they are.
Hi, my name is John Meister, and art has helped me to develop my creativity and to open my mind to new possibilities.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Cross Dunham, and I find that art, especially poetry, photography, and music, helps me to stay awake to the world as it is.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Klepp, and I find that art is inspiration for my soul.
Hello, UU community. My name is Deborah Klepp, and art makes me feel luxurious and vibrant.
Thank you, everyone. Nice job and welcome.
Thank you.
Pablo Picasso famously said, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once you grow up." May you remain an artist. May your days be filled with music and movement and color that stimulates your mind and your body and spirit. May that art help you transcend the limits of our reality today, as well as plant a seed of hope that will grow into a future filled with our creative solutions. Blessings to you all.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah.